Tonight on Golf Central, Tigers back again. 3 weeks since finishing 23rd at Torrey Pines. Woods is prepared for his second PGA Tour start of the season at the Genesis Open at Riviera. And for the first time in a while, Woods is showing signs he expects to win again.
I don't care how they react.
Are you setting them up for this? Is that what this is about?
Hey, I'm trying to win a tournament, so that I'm sure they'll feel the same way. But hey, it's winning time.
We'll take you to the course to show you the highs and lows of Tiger's practice round today, plus how Riviera will challenge him this week.
And with the new season comes another round of changes for former world #1 Lydia Ko. We have all the details on our new coach and our new caddy right now on Golf Central.
Golf Central.
So Tiger is set for his third appearance of the latest comeback. Blew everyone away at the Hero when he clearly had his swing speed back after the back fusion as Woods finished 9th in the 18-man field.
The last time we saw Tiger Woods was last month in the Farmers Insurance Open, where he finished in a tie for 23rd, and that was despite some trouble off the tee, hitting just 30% of his fairways that week.
And this week it is the Genesis Open. Today in a practice round, Tiger played the back nine with Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau. Woods will play with JT and Rory McIlroy in the first two rounds. So indeed, golf is better when Tiger is playing. And yes, he is set to tee it up this week at Riviera. Welcome to Golf Central alongside Lisa Cornwell. I'm Ryan Burke.
It should be an exciting week at that. Woods did play the back nine at Riviera this morning. It was a quick practice round with Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau. Todd Lewis was with that group every step of the way. He joins us live from Riviera. Todd, what was your impression of Tiger's game today?
Well, overall, I felt Tiger was very solid. Lisa, you mentioned that last time that Tiger teed it up at the Farmers Insurance Open, he hit only 30% of his fairways, which was a career low for him in a 72-hole PGA Tour event. Still, he finished inside the top 25 at Torrey Pines. Coming into this week's Genesis Open, Tiger worked on his accuracy, and he was much more effective off the tee during his 9-hole practice round today. And we saw evidence of that with his very first shot. It came on the iconic par 4 10th. He had a 3-wood, and this one was flag hunting. It landed on the green and then rolled over the back. He would then get up and down, birdie that hole, and then after that 10th hole, he missed only 2 fairways the rest of his 9-hole round. Now, Woods did tweak his driver, changing heads to one that now has 9.5 degrees of loft, up from 8.5 degrees at Torrey Pines. He also replaced the shaft in his driver to one that is firmer, and it's also a shaft that he used 2.5 years ago. Woods hopes that combo, the head and new shaft combo, will give him more accuracy while maintaining the distance that he has. Now, considering how well and solidly Tiger Woods played at Torrey Pines, there is a lot of excitement heading into the Genesis Open surrounding Tiger Woods. And in years past, Tiger would show up at an event and firmly, definitively say that he's there to win. But Tiger's just not there yet.
Eventually, I like to win tournaments, and I am trying to get through that, that process, go through that process to get to that point. I was telling JT last night when we were flying out here is that it's interesting that I'm making small little subtle changes in my posture and my game and my swing because I'm starting to understand my body a little bit more with this back that's just different than what it used to be. And those are things that I could never have figured that out on my own, not in a tournament setting. Because in a tournament setting, things are revved up, and I could feel some of the things that were off and was able to work on them. The more tournaments I play in, the more I'll be able to get a better understanding of that. But also, I don't want to play too much. This is still all new to me, and just want to be real smart about it.
Tiger, especially coming off a very solid performance at Torrey, is it difficult right now in this process for you to manage expectations?
No, not at all. I'm just starting back. I've been away from the game for a very long time, and I've basically played 2 tournaments, and so I've got a lot of room for improvement and a long way to go.
Now, this is Tiger's first appearance at the Genesis Open since 2006. This course has more distance and plays much differently than it did 12 years ago when Tiger last played. And because of that, Woods has to do a little more homework this week.
The old yardage book on number 12 is just what I used to play is a 1-iron, a pitching wedge. Now it's a driver and a 7-iron, 6-iron, somewhere in there. I mean, it's some of the holes have really changed. So the old yardage books are out the window. I mean, this is a whole new game. Everything's bigger now. The bunkers are deeper. They seem to be bigger. The greens have got more pin locations than I remember. I've added a few sections around here. And so I got to do a little bit more homework tomorrow during the Pro-Am. I did some nice work on the back 9 today. I'll concentrate pretty hard on that front 9 and make sure I get everything kind of situated. And on the back 9, I'll just do a little touch-up.
Now, looking ahead, Tiger is considering playing next week's Honda Classic. However, it all depends on how his body reacts this week competing in the Genesis Open. By the way, the last time that Tiger played back-to-back weeks on the PGA Tour, back in 2015, when he played the Wyndham Championship right after the PGA Championship. Lisa?
Quite a bit of time ago. Todd Lewis, thank you very much. Tripp Eisenhower with me now. Let's take a look. Todd just mentioned that drive off a 10. This was from his practice.
Just a 3-wood and front left hole location. So this is the one almost everybody in the field will go for this flag. And you would think not a real bad spot, much better than all the tight lie there, seeing how Tiger could handle it. Beautiful pitching at Torrey Pines. Well, the pitching traveled to Riviera.
Really nicely. I like how he flighted that ball, especially out of the thick grass. Let's go to the very next hole. His third shot after laying up left.
Yeah, laid up into the rough over by the driving range there. And, well, that's beautifully controlled distance and spin out of the rough. So another check mark for Mr. Woods.
What about what we've seen from Tiger with this club in hand?
I love the putting stroke. I know he didn't make a lot of long-range putts at Farmers, but he was very, very solid on the greens. I had no worries at all with the greens. And here he is, one hole further up, the beautiful 12th. I love this par 4. It is a very difficult hole. As he said, it used to be a 1-iron and a pitching wedge. Well, it's not that anymore. Then here we are on the 14th, Lisa, that's right. You might see a car being given away. Remember Rich Beam won a car there on that hole years and years ago. Right over the flag. Well done.
One more look at the putting stroke that you were talking about. Very light with the hands.
I love his putting stroke. I mean, he and Ricky Fowler, I think, have the 2 best putting strokes going right now as far as the technical aspects of their strokes. Okay,
so no technical issues with the putting stroke. You have talked about some technical issues you did see last month with the driver. Let's break those down.
Yeah, and he hit 30% of the fairways, okay? I mean, that's the lowest in his career that he's done. He's going to have to play from the fairway a little bit more often. But, Lisa, this is at the Hero. And this is what I'm talking about. We're going to compare this to the swing at Farmers. And there, I want you to pay attention to the left knee. Now, the angle is just a little bit off, but I want you to pay attention to how much movement of the left knee. He was over into his right side more, so when he dips down and speeds up, which he always does in competition, the club will not be as far behind. We saw consistent driving throughout the week and good driving from Tiger Woods in the Bahamas. We did not see that at Farmers, and I think you need to look no further than that left knee and the amount of movement he puts into his right hip, because that allows the club to stay in front of him. So I think Tiger is aware of this because he was doing it in December. So it's something that probably crept in the more he played and wasn't working on it. But I think he probably fixed it. I'd like to see a swing from early this week and see if he's back to doing what he was doing at the Hero.
How much of it is a turn issue, though? Because when you were looking at it, and look, you were doing this in the newsroom last week, his belt buckle seemed to be so much farther back.
Yes.
Going back. I mean, you mentioned the left knee, but he was turning those hips a lot more.
It's the turning of the hip and not restricting that left side. It's the same thing. Either way you want to look at it. The left knee is just real easy to see. It's something that everybody can focus on and see that he has done it. Though you could look at the belt buckle as well, but it's more of a turn into the right side. So when he does squat down, the club can stay in front of him because he's more on top of the ball. So that's really the only issue. But the other issue that I had concerns about going into Farmers was his pitching and chipping. check mark for that. It was spectacular. He turned some 75s into 72s. I mean, he's still Tiger Woods, and he can still score.
Yeah, you mentioned back in December at Hero how he needed to get on the greens and maybe work on that. It looked like he certainly did because the move, as you were describing it, looked really, really nice. Well, this is Tiger's first appearance in the Genesis Open since 2006, the same tournament where he made his PGA Tour debut all the way back in 1992. Tiger's played in this event 11 times in his career, and it's the only PGA Tour event he's played double-digit times and never won. Tiger talked today about how he'd like to show some of the younger generation exactly what it's like to really go head-to-head with him.
You obviously have a great relationship with the young guys, a lot of needling, a lot of fun. Can you envisage a time where competitively out there you turn, I guess, the cold shoulder to them, and how do you think they might react to that given the great relationships you've started?
I don't care how they react.
Are you setting them up for this? Is that what this is about?
Hey, I'm trying to win a tournament, so I'm sure they'll feel the same way. But hey, it's winning time. Yeah, we still give the needle and we still have a whole bunch of fun, but also then again they know that I'm playing in a tournament. So once I get in contention, I can handle myself.
Do you remember?
I just need to get there.
Joined now by Jaime Diaz, and that's really the first time, Jaime, that we've seen Tiger back where he points to a day when the soft, cuddly Tiger would be gone. And you really think about it, he's been kind of the sympathetic, here comes Tiger, oh, it's great to have him back out, we owe Tiger so much. But from the really good players, they kind of looked at Tiger like, well, let's just hope he's healthy this time. But it appears to be different. Physically or mentally, what do you think Tiger will need to work on the most to get to that top level?
I think physically, because I think the mental part is in there well ingrained from when he was a young guy. I mean, Tiger in competition is cold. You know, he learned the value early of making the opponent uncomfortable. That's how you get an edge. And the other thing about it is I don't think he's been fulfilled in the last act of his career. I mean, right now, you know, it's been a tough few years, and he wants to do something at the end that's really worthy of the Tiger Woods career. So as a result, I think he's going to be extremely driven. If he were satisfied, the desire wouldn't be as high. But I think because, you know, he's really got something to prove right now, the mental edge is higher than it's ever been in terms of intensity once he gets back in the hunt.
But do you think it would be difficult if it was Ricky Fowler or Justin Thomas or someone that he is now spending so much time with as part of his rehabilitation? He's credited those guys for going and getting him and bringing him along, part of this rehab from his darkest days.
Yeah.
Do you think in the moment of truth he could really turn on them in competition and be the old Tiger?
Absolutely, no mercy. That's part of it. I'm going to read you a quote, if you don't mind, from 2002. This is from Tiger. Just because I've become friends with more guys now doesn't mean I have a hard time trying to kick their butts. He actually makes having the killer instinct easier because that's what professional athletes do. It's not personal.
Well, it'd be fascinating to see for sure. And like he said, he needs to get to that last step before we'll ever know for sure. Jaime, thanks as always. Appreciate that. Taking a look at some of the tee times. And boy, the field is stacked at Riviera. How about 10:22 off of number 10? Indeed, it is Tiger with Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. Phil Mickelson's been playing fabulous golf this winter in California. He's with Matt Kuchar and maybe the hottest player in the world, Tommy Fleetwood. Jordan Spieth with Patrick Cantlay and Chappell. DJ with Adam Scott and Bubba Watson at 3:12. So star-studded field for sure. It all kicks off on Thursday.
Do you think you're better off as a pick or as a captain? And which would you enjoy more?
Why can't I have both?
Play along here a little bit.
I just did.
Just once.
I like both.
Would you do both?
I like both.
Would they let you do both?
That's up to our captain, what Jim says.
Have you talked to him about it yet?
I have, actually.
Did he say yes?
He didn't say anything.
Matt Adams successfully kicked Trip Eisenhower out. Here to talk a little bit about Tiger and Jim Furyk. It's interesting, and Tiger mentioned about Jim being captain for the Ryder Cup team. You spoke with Jim. He's playing in this week in the Genesis Open, dealing with that shoulder injury. We haven't seen him since the PGA. Let's start with that. How's he doing?
He's very excited about playing. He says he has zero expectations for this week because he said he hasn't played competitively in 6 months, but he is feeling okay, and he's very excited about being back out there.
Okay, what about that part with Tiger?
Well, here's the thing with Tiger Woods. He said that as long as, I'll give you the exact quote because I want to make sure I get this right from the captain when I had spoke to him about it. Quote, if he continues to progress, it's a conversation we'll have. But he did note that, continuing the quote, he's stayed in communication with me about pairings and ideas. So Tiger has been very engaged with the captain about his ideas for the Ryder Cup. And you probably heard next Tuesday the Ryder Cup's going to have a press conference. And they believe at that press conference that Jim Furyk will be announcing some more of his vice captains.
Interesting. So playing this week, and you also said it's good for him to be out there. He told you that, right? He wants to get out there and get a look.
Well, what he wants to be seen as is he wants to be seen as a Ryder Cup captain that is accessible to the players, and he feels it's important to be out there so they can see him, they can talk to him.
All right, Matt Adams, see you in a little bit. Thank you very much. Still ahead, Matt and Jeff Shackelford, they go head-to-head in alternate shot. One topic they debate, the biggest surprise from Tiger's career. Speaking of surprises, Lydia Ko kicks off her season with a new coach and a new caddy on the bag. But with all the changes last year, is anyone really surprised? In the best moments over the years at Riviera, and there have been some great ones. It's a list worth waiting for on Golf Central.